Dr. V, welcome to Girl
Oh,
Take the Lead. I'm so
thanks
excited
for
to have you
having me.
here.
Thank you for having me today.
Yes, I think we're going to have quite the conversation. So I'm really looking forward to this. And why don't we start first by you telling our listeners a little bit about you and your background?
Okay, I love that. I'd love to tell you a little bit about my journey as an entrepreneur, lawyer, negotiator, professor, mentor, certified coach, and inner power decoder. That's like too many lives, but no, it's all in one. So
Well, a lot
I,
of pivoting, I would say. You've pivoted a lot of different ways and taken a
you
lot of
know
different
what? Yes, I,
paths.
I did pivot. It sounds like, yeah, when you see it from the outside, it's like a lot of pivoting, but when you see it from my perspective, it's just a very holistic view to get me where I am now.
Mm,
It's like I'm serving from everything,
yeah.
able to serve others.
Yeah. And all of those paths have given you sort of a foundation.
Yes, actually, a unique perspective. I am. Let me tell you a little bit. Right, I'm a lawyer. I have a master's degree and I have a PhD. I'm a certified negotiator as well. That is my more legal path, right? When I was working in the legal trenches, was mostly doing that. Work as a professor as well as post-secondary education institutions in 3 different countries. I'm a certified negotiator. I'm a certified life coach as well. A certified conflict resolution coach, a certified intuitive life coach, a numerologist, a leadership mindset coach, and a business energetic strategist.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds like a lot of different things, as you said, a lot of pivoting, but not really. What happened is that for most of my adult life, my decisions were based on analytical thinking. You know, I didn't take the time to sit still, to listen to my body, to listen to my intuition, to connect with a higher power. Like I was just on the go all the time and very on my mind, in my mind. And then I got to a point in my life where I had to overcome a personal struggle, and that took me on a self-discovery journey. Well, I experienced the power of spirituality and energetics. I learned to listen to my inner voice, to activate and discover, first to discover, and then to activate my unique gifts, discover my purpose, manage my energy, get out
Mm,
of my head, and connect to my heart.
that sounds so good.
Well, that really transformed my life,
Yeah.
right? So now I like to say, and that's my slogan, I stand at the intersection of intellect and intuition.
Yeah. And I could see that you got so much of your background in the intellect and you've balanced that with the intuition and the spirituality. How
Yes,
wonderful to have that balance.
I do, right? I have 25 plus years of experience in leadership, legal practice, negotiation, teaching, and coaching. That's intellect, as you said.
Yeah.
But being also an energetic business energetics strategist, an inner power decoder, a numerologist, an intuitive life coach. That's just the intuitive part, right? So
What
blending those two.
what does a business energetics strategist do? Because we probably have some listeners that might
I was like,
benefit from that.
yes. Well, I what I do is I work with entrepreneurs. I work with business owners and I help them activate their unique gifts and talents so they can achieve their goals, their business goals, right? This is very, very focused into business because I'm going from the premise that we are our businesses. So the more you invest in yourself, the more you know yourself, the more confident you are, the more sure you are about your purpose, the more aligned you are with your own energy,
Yeah.
the more you can create sustainable business growth.
Yeah. Love that.
So that's
Definitely can
what
see that.
I also help entrepreneurs and business owners I also help people who are working in corporations, right? Like, because that's and to tap into their unique leadership superpowers at any given moment. So that's what I do. I work with as a business. I help them align their business and their purpose to their own energy and their unique strengths and talents.
Mm.
And you know what? When you do that, once you're totally in alignment, everything just flows.
Yeah.
Just stop fighting it and you just go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. I've often thought that when you know, especially your superpowers or, your purpose and mission, I call that personal branding, that you can be aligned. And when challenges come your way and try and knock you off, you can come back in that resiliency and stand in that purpose that you've identified for yourself.
Yeah, I love when you say that, because that's exactly one of the principles I work with, right? Like, you know how business are, like, it's a roller coaster. It's a freaking roller coaster. Some days are great days, right? And you're getting that client that you've been just wanted to have for such a long time, and then there's other days like nothing is working,
Yeah.
right? Like, and then that check, or well, there's no checks, but you don't get that e-transfer anymore. Like, you're struggling to get that one, or technology is not working, and that those are the days like where you really need to be very steady, standing in your purpose, very steady, standing in your energy, very steady, starting and knowing like, this is what I'm doing this for. This is my vision, this is my mission. And that's what keeps you pulling you and your energy and your business.
Yeah. So these things have led you then to a topic that we discussed about numerology and leadership. Seems
Yes.
like the path has just gotten like this is additional information for people to have to help them. Is it to understand their power? Like, how does that work into leadership?
Well, today we're going to be working as we're going to be talking about my signature method, Decode Your Leadership Superpowers,
Uh-huh.
and which is actually a method that I've developed that combines ancient numerology practices with practical and innovative strategies that are very relatable, that I have created and I have personally experienced as a leader for more than 25 years. And I provide tailored insights and support, right, along with those numerology practices for women so they can take their leadership skills to the next level.
And is it just like another source of data about ourselves that maybe we're not in tune with?
Yes, yes and no. It is another set of data. Is this self-discovery, right? Is a stepping into is discovering what makes you unique. Because I do believe that everybody can lead, right? That's actually my mission. My mission is to help more women get into leadership roles so that they can have a better life for themselves, their families, with more joy, more fulfillment, and more wealth.
Yeah, I'm all for that. That's my mission too. Woohoo!
Well, making the world a better place,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why I do this. I want more women in positions of leadership. And then this is a starting point. For me, this is self-knowledge is the first step, right? So I help them discover these are my superpowers. I can be a leader, maybe not like my friend Mary, or maybe not like my friend Beth, right? Is this me, the way I like, the only unique way that you can lead, right? So, and so that's the first step, discovering. And then the second step, and probably the little bit more challenging one, is stepping and embracing those powers. Because sometimes we're afraid, right? Sometimes we are afraid of stepping there. We're afraid of our own powers. And that's what I help women with. You now that you know who you are meant to be, let's go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned that numerology is an ancient practice. So
Yes.
is that, can you talk a little bit about that? Like how it has been used and
Well, it's been around for a really long time, right? Like it started with the priests in ancient Egypt who used to make predictions and interpretations, right? Modern day numerology is normally credited to Pythagoras, the Greek philosopher, which is still like, right, um, is still ancient philosophy. And he developed some theories behind it, which took the numbers to a complete different level. So the idea behind numerology is that your life is affected by your birth date, by your birth name, and by other factors surrounding you as an individual. So nowadays, a lot of people use numerology to understand the energies of the numbers and how can they reveal truths about the world and about themselves. For me, it's all about leadership. I'm passionate about leadership. As I said, my mission is to have more women in leadership roles. So I use numerology as a tool of to discover leadership uniqueness.
Mhm. And how did you get there? How did you learn?
How did I learn?
Yeah, about
Well,
this.
I've been looking into, as I said, once I have that personal struggle, I look into spirituality. I look into many different things, many different things. Um, I look into the Enneagram. I look into human design. I look into astrology. I look into different things because I was trying to find myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that resonated most with me was numerology.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started getting certified, right? And then I got certified as a numerologist. And I've been using it. I felt that that was the one that made the most difference with my life. Uh, it just was maybe because it was a very good blend for me of intellect and intuition, which is where I stand, right? So it was not too much this side, not too much this other side. So it actually makes sense to me. And I've been using it for quite a while now with my clients, and it's always the same things. I get usually three pieces of feedback. One is this is so me, like wow, this is me, right? And you put some people say spot on, or other people say you just put words to what's going on inside my head. And that gives clarity, right? And clarity is always this first step. That's what I love, self-knowledge, because that gives you clarity. And once you have clarity, then you can start planning.
Yeah.
And then you also give yourself, numerology gives you permission to be yourself, right? Like, yeah, this is me, and so be it. And I'm going to embrace it. And that just takes this weight off your shoulders, and that just makes you more confident.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to step more into leadership positions.
Great. And I love what you were saying about your clients and how they get new information about themselves, like they see something that they didn't see before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And also that's the first part, right? And the second part, I work with them in a very tailored way to say, okay, this is where you are, this is where you are meant to be, and this is where you are. How we get there.
Ah,
Now we have the goal, you have the finish line. I mean, of course, we evolve, and the finish line might change, but at least you have a finish line, and that just makes it easier for you because you have a clear goal where you are supposed to be.
well, I think sometimes it's hard for us to see sometimes our potential ourselves.
Yeah,
Like it's probably, we stay in the present, we, you know, think about the future and you said, we get fearful. We don't want to jump. too far, you know. I know that I've always been somebody that I can remember a friend of mine saying, let's go to Puerto Rico. And I said, but if we go, how will we rent a car? You know, where would we stay? Do they have a police? I mean, is it a military thing? I mean, like, how safe is it? You know, just I went through every objection, and you know, she kept saying, "Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it." And so I finally said, "Okay, okay, I'm going for it." So I went with her, and you know that when we got there, she fell into the fear. Like I was all systems ahead, and it was so funny to see us
Right.
fall into different, you know, different points of fear. And you know, and where I had kind of come to grips with all the fear for myself going on the trip, she hit the fear hit her when she was on the trip. I thought that was just interesting to see
But
how.
different personalities, right? How we react to different things. And then for me, it's all about baby steps. Whatever you feel comfortable, you cannot push anyone to do things they are not ready to do.
Right.
Right? Like that is it. But it's motivating to see the finish line.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I also use numerology because there is two different. I have a lot of clients, and I can see this. Like I'm come from my background is legal research too, right? As a professor, as a researcher, so I tend to see patterns. I like to see patterns. I like to do research. I better test everything on myself first, and there's two very big changes, shifts that we have in energy in our lives. One is when you're 38, according to numerology, and the other one is, say, 38, give it or take. And then another one is when you are like 50, 51. Give it or take, right? Say 49, 50, 51, 37, 38, 39. And that also changes the way you lead. And sometimes you can have the change in your energy that is very subtle, or sometimes it doesn't change. I have clients that their energy never changed. So you just get more of the same. So you just get like, you potentialize that energy and you just make it bigger, you expand it. But I have other clients who really change like day and night the energy. And then that creates a little bit of a crisis. It's like, what is happening to me? Right? What is this thing that I'm feeling? In my case, it was like that. My energy changed when I was 38, big time. I went from traveling the world to wanting to stay in my house and bake cookies. And I was like, what? Who's this person? Right? And then, but that was the energy. That was the energy, that the change of energy that I had. And then it can be just like that.
Geez, I'll have to go back and really look at myself, you know, because I'm 68. I'll be 69 in July. And I'm not in touch with it. I'll have to go back and just sort of examine myself, like where.
Well, we're going to do your number so we can just talk a little bit more about that. But it's
Oh,
very
okay.
interesting. It's very interesting about how this shifts. And if you go back, I bet there's something that happened around 38. And again, something that happened around 50.
I'll have to do a follow up with our listeners and go after you and I talk about my numerology, but whether there's something that I can see there, probably um,
Mm-hmm.
38. I I was just married, but no babies yet.
We're just married, so that's a
Yeah.
change.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I'm 51. Oh, I got my first tattoo though. I got a tattoo at 50. I think I must have been
Yeah,
doing
see?
something to step out, right?
Right. See, like this is what I'm saying. Like I had a client, for example, she was always like this very focused person, always working. And then when she turned 38, all she wanted to do is grab a motorcycle and go camping on her own, right? And everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're a teenager at 38." Right? And then when we had the session, that was exactly the way her energy was going.
Huh.
So instead of starting apologizing, which is what she was doing all the time, right? Because, oh my God, I feel so bad, but I really want to go camping. Now she's like, yeah, this is part of me. I'm going camping,
Well,
right? And her embracing it.
we'll have to have listeners. You'll have to think about this for yourself and send us email or something so that we can hear whether you see energy shifts on for yourself. That would be really cool to see.
And especially reach out to me, especially if you're at that age where you are super confused because things are shifting and you don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
a perfect time for a numerology session.
and we'll definitely have all of Dr. V's information to contact her in the show notes. But um, yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting about energy shifts. I really find that interesting. Um, is there any more that you see there about numerology relating to leadership that you want to add? I know we covered some points, but
So it's basically, well, we want to understand your leadership superpowers, right? Do you want to understand your strengths? But you also want to have a look at your weaknesses. I like to call it the shadow and the light of your leadership skills. And that just gives you great insight
yeah.
to understand, you can capitalize on your strengths and you can become more effective, but you can also use it to understand the personalities and strengths of your team members if you're a leader.
Mm.
I just had a CEO doing a session with me for her team. Was like she did it as a gift to the team, and we work with we work with her, but we also work with her team, and we decode everybody's superpowers. And then we had a long conversation on how they can work better together.
Well, we think too, by having certain insights to your fellow team members, that you begin to appreciate and understand
Mm-hmm.
and embrace the differences of the people on your team.
We went around, for example, saying, okay, who are these numbers? Who have the energy of this number? And they're like raising hands, right? And then, well, I decoded everybody's superpowers. And then after that, we went around. And then I said, let's just say something. Tell us something that will just make the relationship with everyone better. It was a team building activity at the end, right? Because I have so much experience with team building activities, being a leader for so long, that just comes easy to me to just blend everything. So we were doing that, and then it was so funny when she said, "Well, this is what will make life easier at work for me," right? And then all the people who had her same number were like, yes, yes. You can see like, oh, well, right. And then so that was a funny very entertaining way of creating bonding and team building. And then after that I have just a one-on-one session with the CEO, and we just talk about how she can lead better. So it's like it's a great tool for businesses, it's a great tool for teams, it's a great tool for leadership.
Okay, so I guess for our listeners, we're going to do a little demonstration here of I know nothing about right now about my numerology and my numbers, my energy that Dr. V has decoded. I gave her my birth date and my maiden name. So she's had that. And we thought it would be kind of fun for you to see her work directly on me so that you could get a sense of what it might be to work with her. So hopefully you'll and I'm really hoping that it's going to be, no big surprises, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I hope there are some big surprises because that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And yes, so you are I look at your numbers, I look at your name. You see me here just maybe looking into the other side. I have two screens here, and I just look at my notes. And so you are I have some names for different type of leaders that we have. You'll see everything on my website, right? Like depending on the energy of your numbers, there's 9. I should start by saying that there is 9 numbers, like 1 to 9, and each number has a different energy. There is around probably 6 or 7 numbers that I could decode for you. But we will stay to the basics. I'm going to do just 2 of the main numbers today because it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
And I want to dig a little bit deeper in those ones. So you are, remember, all my numerology, there's a lot of numerology out there. Mine is focused on leadership. It's numerology for leadership. So just bear that in mind for our listeners. Everything I'm going to be saying is related to leadership.
But if somebody wanted to work with you.
Oh, if somebody wants to work with me, I can do a generic one.
Yeah.
But today, I can just do different things. I can do a more overall umbrella of everything. But today, for our session, because it's focused on leadership, and because you're so passionate about it, and so am I, let's just focus on that. And we are going to decode your leadership superpowers.
Okay.
So you are the creative innovator.
That sounds about right.
Right?
One would say that.
Superpower, the creative innovator.
Over my career, I launched about 90 new products. That a lot of them are still on the market, and I pretty skilled in naming products and different organizations, websites, those kinds of things. I'm pretty good with that. And my episode that I did on mobbing or bullying brought up that people who tend to be targeted sometimes and bullied are creative people, are energy people who are, moving things and trying to change things, and people can push them out because they're against the status quo.
Right. Well, let me tell you the other energy of your numbers, but we'll get there. And just for our listeners to know, I never met Yolanda before.
No.
Right. So it's like, I don't know anything about her. Like we had a very quick just meet and greet, and that was it, but we didn't touch on this. So so this energy that you have the energy of number 3. So this is associated with communication, with creativity, with self-expression, with social interactions. Right? This is your type of leadership, right? Like you tend to be a creative problem solver who's able to think outside of the box and come up with innovative solutions. You're also typically and clearly, because you have a podcast, I was not surprised when I got this number for you. You're a very skilled communicator who's able to articulate your ideas effectively and inspire others to take action.
That's lovely to hear. I hope so.
Actually, your purpose as a leader is to communicate and shine in all forms of expression. By sharing your endless ideas, you attract supportive energies to bring those ideas to fruition.
This is resonating. Was that was option 1 when you were talking about how some of your clients react?
Yes.
This is totally resonating with
right. So it's like, this is a very your energy is this energy of inspiration and motivation, right? Like you motivate your team when you're working with a team. In this case, your listeners, right? Everybody you're working with, you motivate them through your charisma and your creative thinking.
That sounds good.
So you come up with innovative ideas, you communicate effectively. It's not only that, it's not only that you come up with great ideas, you're very good at communicating and sharing those ideas, right? So
Mhm.
that is the way you help to drive your team to success.
Mhm.
And so you're also leaders who embody this energy that tend to be very authentic and transparent,
Mhm.
and that you encourage your team members to do the same.
Yeah.
And you value individuality, and you encourage your team members to bring that unique perspective and those ideas to the table.
Mhm.
Because innovation and creativity is so important to you, right? That's why I refer to you as a creative innovator.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm still doing it too. Still trying.
So that's, remember we mentioned that every number has the light and the shadow, right? So this is
Yes.
the light, this
Yes.
is where you shine.
Mhm.
The shadow, which are the side where you can work a little bit more, you can harness your energy. Probably you can harness your energy in a more focused way. That'll be good. You could benefit from from a little bit more in this case, I don't know how that applies to you, because we're going to look at other numbers, and remember, everybody's unique. So this is the overall energy of 3, but you are not the same as other 3s because you have different energies, right? Your other numbers are different. So we can just say, like, people are way more familiar with astrology. So you know how you have a solar sign. So what I'm
Mhm.
talking about you now is your life path. So that's like your solar sign, your main energy. But then you also have an ascendant, and you have the moon in this one, and that different planets in that one. So that makes your overall chart. With numerology, it's very similar too. You have different numbers, and all these numbers make your blueprint. But we are talking about the main energy. Like, this is your life purpose. This is your purpose as a leader,
Yeah.
to communicate and shine in all forms of expression.
I get it. I feel that. I felt that when I was young, very, very young. I can remember being called out in second grade as a ringleader
Mhm.
because the teacher thought that I was making the merry-go-round go too fast for the little kids, and I'm like, but why am I being singled out? Like, I mean, I've spent a lot of time recently just kind of going back and looking at
Mhm.
my purpose. And I think there's also been a light for me to be an optimism, a hopefulness in our family. I kind of,
Optimism is part of you.
yeah,
You
definitely.
are joyful, optimistic, outgoing, witty, persuasive,
Yeah.
energetic.
I always felt that was my purpose because we were such a dysfunctional family growing up with a lot of negativity and arguments and fighting. And I was the little, yeah, happy. I came into the world, just, and I look back and I go, that was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to
Right.
be the happy one.
You know what? That's interesting, because I do have that energy. You and I, we share the
Yes.
same leadership superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes, our main superpower is the same. I'm also energy 3, so I get it. I grew up with my mom saying, "Oh my God, you're always wearing these rose-colored glasses," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's me, right? Like, I'm just gonna see the glass half full."
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
So what you have to do to harness a little bit better your energy, maybe trying to concentrate in one thing
Yeah.
at the time, because there is so much going on, right? And you have a mind that goes so fast that you might want to, instead of shifting from one project to the other, maybe just focus on one project until you finish it and then move on to the next one, right?
Yeah. Because when I retired, from having been on that fast pace, then I went into podcasting, and then I went into teaching at the university level. There was like no downtime. I was just continuing the same speedy energy. And once the podcast was launched and I was got through my fall semester, all the feedback from coaches and everything was take this time, go heal, go reflect, just give it yourself that break. So I've been hearing that this loud and clear that
I'm gonna say it again. Because one of the things that is, I always like to, I when I do my reports or my readings, I look into the shadow, I look into the light, I look into the shadow, and then I give some advice, right? Remember to do this. So for you, will be remember to focus on one thing at a time, choose what you love most or what is most urgent, and commit to it, right? And the other one is, it's okay if you let people see you in pain, because that's a struggle, right? And what really motivates you is what gives you joy. That's that's your happy place. Like, I know that's everybody's happy place, and might sound redundant as I'm saying it, but you really thrive there, right? When you're doing something that gives you joy, because it's almost like it fools it really your tank is full with that, right? It is really even more important than for any other energy that you are doing something that brings you joy. And of course, because of that, it's so difficult for you to let people see you in pain.
Yeah. Well, some of the podcasting, I have been able to share, my journey, and I think some of my listeners, are get, that it wasn't all a bed of roses. And just life brings us these things and challenges. Like you said, your challenge took you a certain path, and
right.
My challenges brought me a certain path now. And I look at the podcast as, let's cover topics that help us all heal, that help us see ourselves. Like you and I are so aligned in the mission, because we are both the same. Let's help leaders lead and step into it.
Right.
Right. With courage and confidence, and don't sit in the corner, just step into it. Just give it a shot.
Just go for it. Yes.
And yeah.
So and then let me keep on talking a little bit about your another one of your superpowers. Again, I'm just touching today into the two most important ones.
Right. And then people, when you work with her, there'll be a ton more. So don't.
Like, I'm not going to, for example, I'm not going to talk today about your shift at 38 or your shift at 51, because I don't think we'll have time. Well, we might, but I don't think we'll get there. But let me tell you a little bit about your other energies. You also have energy number 1, which is actually energy associated with leadership. Like, this is like pure leadership. Like, like this is, you are, remember how I said you were the creative innovator? Well, you are also the risk-taking pioneer.
I think it's interesting that comes up, because I'm not, at least in my life. I mean, I've made big changes. Like, I moved from LA to New York, only knowing one person in all of New York. It was like I went.
That sounds like risk-taking to me.
No, that's not risk-taking.
No, doesn't sound like risk-taking to you.
It was just big risk for me. Not knowing anything about it, but just being driven. Like, sometimes I feel like the universe and energy is pushing my back. Like on the campus at San Jose State, there is a monument to Cesar Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, my maiden name, Chavez, I've always felt an affinity for him. And my last time I was on campus, I felt the energy. It was just this pushing energy, like keep advocating, keep moving, keep bringing forward your the stories of people. I can feel that energy. It's like real. It's like, I don't know. I went home shaking my head going, I just had this weird interaction with a monument. I mean, there was energy coming off of it that was compelling me to take more risk.
Right. And this is your one energy, because you are here as a leader. You are purposeful and goal oriented with a lot of determination and dedication to reach your goals. As a leader, you're a bold leader, bold enough to take risks and create your own path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I mean by saying the risk-taking pioneer.
Yeah.
Because you like to create your own path.
Yeah. It resonates.
Right. So you're self-motivated, independent, practical, passionate about leadership. So I'm not surprised the name of your podcast, right? Because
Yeah.
leadership is in your blood. Leadership is in your energy.
Yeah.
And you love doing things first.
I don't mind it. I can't say that I get an adrenaline kick or anything from it. It's more like, let's go see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a curiosity. That's kind of how it feels. Like I know people who have get like the adrenaline hit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a I think that's why I like doing the research so much with this podcast. That's my favorite part, in addition to talking to great people like you. But it's when I get to, dig in and see what's going on and be an observer and, look at it a little bit differently.
Right.
And like, what else could be going on? Like, what more is there to learn here? So that's kind of where I can see how I show up.
But remember, curiosity is always going to be there, right? Because your main number is this curious energy.
Yeah.
But you're also a pioneer. Like you are also, just when you look back, you might say, okay, I probably was the first person enjoying this.
Oh,
Not so much of a competitive edge, but because just it's almost like it was normal to you. Right? Why not? I was like, this why not energy, right? Like, or challenge accepted energy.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, college was all about that. And then going to graduate school in business, and there were like 3 women in the class. I mean, it's like, move over. I'm coming in. It's like,
So that's a pioneer. That's a risk-taking pioneer.
absolutely.
We just have to. That's why I was saying, by giving yourself permission, right? And see how we've been evolving in this conversation.
Yeah.
You first say, I'm not so sure, and I was like, actually, right?
Right.
By doing this, you're giving yourself permission to embrace that.
Yeah.
It's like, heck yes, I was a pioneer. You know what I mean? Like, heck yes, I'm an innovator.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. I can see how.
I think you saw it. Now you can feel it. I can see the change in your face.
Yeah. I can feel it now. Yeah. Oh, you guys, you got to do this. This is so cool. Yeah. Well, it just, like when you say confidence, just having a bit more information about, your energy and what that's about.
Right. Right.
And definitely when you say the light and the shadow, you know, not like positive or negative, but light and shadow, that if you're a leader, that you know that you, okay, I can be a little vague in my
Mhm.
instructions. And I used to get
Right?
feedback from that,
Yeah, because
you
you
know,
brain goes so fast.
yeah, like, didn't you get it already? I
Yeah.
see it in my oldest daughter too. She's a bit like me that way. Um, but
And you also have this was one energy we're talking about, right? Which is very independent. So that's in the shadow side. Not being independent. Being independent is in the light side, but in the shadow side is expecting others to be as independent as you are.
mm,
Right? So it's like you just give an instruction and then you expect people are going to solve it the way you probably will have solved it if somebody has given you the same instruction, right?
yeah.
So energy can be a little bit of lack of empathy, but I think you have a three that is very strong. So I don't see you having lack of empathy, mostly because of the three. And I also always like to say that you see the shadow in a bad day, right? Maybe in a bad day, you're going to have a little bit of lack of empathy, never in a good day.
Mhm. Well, on a bad day, I'm, I guess we all get a little self-centered. It's hard to be empathetic if you're being self-centered, right?
Right. And also remember that you are very independent, right? So what will be the shadow of being independent,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes just being dominant and maybe a little demanding.
Yeah.
And sometimes excess of tension and worry is also a big one for this number when you're
Oh,
in the
yeah. I can definitely think demanding and dominant. Um, I think people who knew me probably 20 years ago would definitely see and probably say something like that about me when I was trying so hard to push and make something happen for myself. And, you know, how, of course I'm going to make it, of course I'm going to do it. And, um, I definitely know, especially when I was trying to make it in the beauty field in
Mhm.
New York, which was very competitive, extremely competitive.
Right.
Um, tough. You needed to be super tough. Um, now, now
So I'm just laughing because you say, I'm not sure I'm competitive. And then you're like, I wasn't this interested. It was so competitive, right?
all right.
And maybe you didn't stay there for long, but you did went there,
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
You stayed there. So you like competition. See, that's what I'm saying. It's just giving yourself permission to be yourself. Like, I like competition and so be it.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Right?
definitely into sports and I mean, I
Right.
love,
So
I love
that's who you are.
teams and stuff like that. Definitely.
Yeah. So this is you. This is Yolanda, and it's fine. Right?
Oh,
Just embrace being competitive, embrace being innovative. And then, of course, we were saying at the beginning that there's two big changes, right? A 38 and 51. And you, because of your age, you already have those energies. In your case, you're not feeling the shift anymore because you're not in the middle of a crisis or
right.
the middle of the shift or the change. But what is happening is that you're building up. It's like those energies are piling up. And now, at this point of your life, they're also part of you,
Yeah.
right? So then if we were talking about those energies as well, then we will be just piling up to make your a full blueprint.
Very
And
cool.
yeah,
Well, we're getting to the end of our episode for sure. And is there anything that you want to cover that we didn't?
right, that what I'm going to be doing is not just a numerology reading.
Yes.
I work in decoding your leadership superpowers, which combines numerology readings with very practical and innovative uh, insights and recommendations that are tailored to you
Yeah.
to support you in your journey to take your leadership skills to the next step,
Yeah. Just,
especially in a fast-paced world like today's.
yeah. I think everyone could benefit having this done and seeing where everyone, where you are in the journey, um, and how this can do. I think that probably you with your consult, you'll talk to each of the potential
I do have
clients,
a
and
30-minute free consultation where
there you
people
go.
can go and we can chat and just see, because I have different packages, different options, different sessions,
Yeah,
depending on what they are looking for. Then we can just chat about that.
cool.
But basically, I mean, since this is your podcast,
Hmm.
and it's all about leadership. That's what we're focusing on. One of my particular sessions that are numerology for leadership, or Decode Your Leadership Superpowers. And as you can see, your superpowers are all about creating new things and innovating.
Yeah,
That's your superpower as a leader,
yeah.
right? Like just by decoding 2 of your numbers out of
Mhm.
all of the numbers that you have, we can see how you as a leader are creative, innovating, and motivating.
Yeah. Thank you for that. What a nice way to end our episode today. And again, we'll have all the information that they can contact you. Any, do you want to tell them about your website
Yes,
or?
you can reach me at my website is Dr. Veronica as Veronica De La Rosa Coaching, Veronica De La Rosa Coaching.com. And you can get there a free consultation. You can book there directly in my website a 30-minute free consultation, and we can discuss if you are interested in decoding your inner powers, decoding your leadership superpowers, right? And just work with me. You can do it directly there. Just book the consultation. You can also follow me on my social media. I have Instagram and Facebook as Dr. Veronica De La Rosa Coaching, LinkedIn as Dr. Veronica De La Rosa. And if you go to my website, I also have right now there a free quiz to discover what limiting beliefs are holding you back.
Mm.
Which doesn't relate exactly to our topic today, but it's also interesting to know in case you are wondering, do I have any limiting beliefs holding me back? Go and do the quiz.
I think we all do.
But again, it's all about self-knowledge, right? So if you
Yeah.
know what is the biggest one that's holding you back, you can focus on working on that.
Oh,
There's
that
some,
sounds
you
good,
get
you
the
guys.
quiz, and then you can have some quick action items to start working to
That
work on
that
those beliefs.
that just sounds terrific. And I hope all of our listeners go and check you out there. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you for doing my numbers and I was
Oh,
completely what did we say? Aligned and number one, like your clients, who reported that it was right on target. So appreciate that very much.
oh no, and we should just have another session, and then I can just finish doing your 38 and 51 years.
I need to go back and try and remember what was going on too.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, the energy is going to show. You don't need to remember anything.
Okay. All right. There you go, everybody. Thank you for listening today.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
My fellow 3.
Bye, everybody.